Howdy and good day, fellers. Happy Friday to you. Before we jump in to PO26, I just want to mention, I sit at home and I'm watching these scores from the Google quizzes come in live, and I have a rough idea how long my videos are. I think yesterday's was about 22, 24 minutes, something like that. But it's like 12 minutes into class, 10 minutes into class, and scores are starting to pop up. So clearly, unless you're watching these videos on 2x speed, which if you are, then hats off. But you're probably not. So that means that you're jumping into the Google quiz before the lesson is finished, and you might be missing some of the things that I want to make sure that you understand. And so just wait until the video is done. Do the work on this page, then jump in to the Google quiz, and I think you will find that they will go better for you. So anyway, PO26. Yesterday in PO25, we focused on graphing equations that were in slope-intercept form. Today, our focus is going to be on writing equations in slope-intercept form. And there's a lot of different ways that information can be presented to you. But if you remember, the cool thing about slope-intercept form, and I don't know why I gave 2 lines for this, but slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. Its focus is on the slope and the y-intercept of the line, right? It doesn't really matter what x and y are. They just represent ordered pairs that are on the line. But if you can calculate the slope and calculate the y-intercept, you've got the equation of any linear function in slope-intercept form, because really these are those important pieces here, slope and y-intercept, okay? So down below here, just as a reminder that m variable is the slope, the b variable is the y-intercept. And we haven't really talked much about x and y. I just mentioned that they represent any ordered pair that's on the line. In PO25, when we kind of checked some points that we had, we plugged them back into the equation for x and y. Basically, the y variable in slope-intercept form represents the y value of an ordered pair on the line. Okay, the y value of any ordered pair on the line. The x variable represents the x value of an ordered pair on the line. Okay, that's why we can take an ordered pair when we graph it and plug it into the equation for x and y, because any ordered pair that's on the line, its values for x and y will make the equation true. And so PO26 really, it lets x and y shine a little bit, because we'll be using them a little bit more, but it all comes down to what is the slope, what is the y-intercept. If you can find those two things, you can write the equation of any line in slope-intercept form. Okay, so there are kind of 4 different types that we're going to talk about. Of course, you know that your test is coming up. You'll have 4 questions on PO26. You'll have 1 of each of these 4. So there are kind of 4 sections here. 1 of each type of question will be on your test, which, by the way, will be next week. Kind of the schedule going forward, we're going to cover CO27 on Monday. Tuesday, Wednesday will kind of be review days, and then Thursday is going to be the test. If you need to stay after school Thursday or Friday because you don't finish, you can have that time. If we're not doing anything Christmassy on Friday during your class period, I know HCC, we have the choral concert to watch there, but you can use Friday class time also. But I think especially the earlier objectives of this unit, 50 minutes or 45 minutes for 7th grade, should be about the right amount of time. And if you need extra time, stay after school during lunch or whatever, we can work that out. But plan on Thursday. Okay, so let's go down the page a little bit here. And it says, using the given information, write the equation of the line in slope-intercept form. Show your work when necessary. So this is kind of section 1. Okay, these are kind of the first types that you're going to see here. Okay, and remember, what are we looking for? The slope and the y-intercept. Oh, that's kind of cool. I give you the slope and I give you the y-intercept directly. So with a slope of 5, that means that in our equation, m will equal 5. With a y-intercept of -3, our b will be -3. We just got to put those pieces into place now. Y equals mx plus b. Y equals 5x minus 3. We've put the slope in for the m variable, we put the y-intercept in for the b variable, and there is our equation. Okay. Next one, slope, -2, y-intercept, 8. Can't really be much more direct than that, right? Slope, y-intercept given to you. So in our equation, the slope, that m variable, is going to be -2, and the b variable, the y-intercept, is going to be +8. We have the two things we need, so now we just got to plug them in. Y equals -2x plus 8. Slope, y-intercept. Okay. Even one like this one here, where it says slope of 3 and passes through 0, 1, well, what do we know about the ordered pair 0, 1? The fact that that x value is 0 in that ordered pair means what? It means it's on the y-axis. And if that ordered pair is on the y-axis, by definition, it's our y-intercept. So even though it's not quite as cut and dry as the first two that we talked about, I'm still giving it to you in a very direct manner. We've got our slope, 3. We've got our y-intercept, which is +1, because if the line passes through 0, 1, which is on the y-axis, by definition, that is the y-intercept. So plug them in. Y equals our slope 3 times x, and then our y-intercept +1. Y equals 3x plus 1. So you can see the next two below that are very similar. So the slope of -4/3 passes through 0, -10. What I want you to see, I want you to be able to recognize that with that x value of 0, right? When you have an ordered pair with an x value of 0, it means you're on the y-axis. It means you're on the y-axis. So for this one, slope, very direct, -4/3. Our y-intercept, our value for b, -10. And so our equation, y equals -4/3 x minus 10. Okay, so the first type of an equation that you're going to get here is going to be very direct. Okay, I give you the slope, I give you the y-intercept, you just need to plug those in. Right? Second type that you will get, not quite as clear, because if you'll notice, these ordered pairs here that the line passes through, I still give you the slope, right? I'm not a Grinch, okay? I still give you the slope, but this time the line, or the ordered pair it passes through, is not the y-intercept. And we know that because x isn't 0. So, knowing what the slope is, remember, all we need are the slope and the y-intercept. We need a method to find b. M's given to us, but how do we find b? And I said earlier that this objective is really going to make the x and y variables shine, okay? Because if we know our line passes through 3, 2, that means that 3 is a value for x, and 2 is a value for y in our equation. So if we go to slope-intercept form, which is y equals mx plus b, we know what y is. Y is 2. We know what m is. The slope is 4. We know what x is. X is 3. And we're solving for b, which is okay, because if we have values for our other 3 variables, we can solve for b, right? And again, how I used this ordered pair here, 3, 2, was knowing that that ordered pair is on my line. It means that they are legitimate values. They're going to work for x and y. So I replaced the y variable with 2. I replaced the x variable with 3. I already know my slope is 4, and now I can solve for b, right? 4 times 3 is 12. So 2 equals 12 plus b. One-step equation, subtract 12 from both sides, cancel it out on the right, and 2 minus 12 is a negative 10. Negative 10 equals b. I got the other part that I needed to find. Now that I know the slope, now that I know the y-intercept, I can write my equation. Y equals 4x minus 10. And when I write my final equation, I leave x and y as x and y because I'm writing the general equation, right, of the general graph for all ordered pairs that are on this line, not just 3 and 2. So you would not have 2 in for y and 3 in for x when you write your final equation. Okay, you would leave it as x and y. But we use those to solve for b. Okay, let's do the last one here just to get a little more practice with this method. Again, what are we looking for? We're looking for the slope and we're looking for the y-intercept. I've given you the slope. The slope is 1/7. We again must solve for b. And we can do that because we are given an ordered pair that the line passes through. It's not the y-intercept, but they are values for x and y. So when we have our slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b, we've got 3 of the 4 variables. We can plug in negative 3 for y. Our slope is 1/7. That's m. Our x value is 21. We're multiplying m and x. That's why I put 21 in parentheses there. And we're solving for b. Take a minute and just let that kind of sink in, right? Where'd the 1/7 come from? Oh, it was given to us. That's our slope. That's our m. Where'd the negative 3 and 21 come from? Oh, that's an ordered pair that the line passes through. Okay, just make sure you put them in the correct spot. Ordered pairs are written in XY form. So that negative 3y gets plugged in for y. That 21x gets plugged in for x. Now we can go to solve this. Negative 3 equals 1/7 times 21. Remember that another word for times is of. So 1/7 of 21. Essentially what we're saying here is that we want to break 21 into 7 groups and take one of those groups. So 21 into 7 groups, that's 3. We want one of those groups. 1/7 of 21 is going to be 3. If that didn't make any sense, you can kind of go the old-fashioned way and say, well, what are we doing here? We are multiplying 1/7 by 21, or 1/7 times 21 over 1. Multiply straight across. That gives us 1 times 21 is 21. 7 times 1 is 7. 21 divided by 7 gives us 3. Okay. On all of these, if your slope is a fraction, you should get an integer value when you multiply it by the x. I think I set them all up so they work out more or less cleanly here. So if you don't get an integer value, just go back and check, make sure you have things in the right spot, you did your math correctly, all that sort of stuff. But anyway, negative 3 equals 3 plus b. To get b by itself, one-step equation, subtract 3 from both sides, cancel that out. And negative 3 minus 3 is negative 6. and that equals b, which is the other part that we need to write this equation in slope-intercept form. So our answer, y equals our slope 1/7 times x, y-intercept -6. Okay, so the first type that I'm going to give you on the test is I explicitly give you the slope and the y-intercept. Okay, the second type is I'm going to give you the slope, but then I'm going to give you an ordered pair that's on the line, but is not the y-intercept. And so to solve this, you take that ordered pair, plug those values in along with your slope to solve for b. And you have 2 examples here, and then 2 for you to practice. Okay? The third type, I'm not going to give you either the slope or the y-intercept. Thanks, guy. Okay? I'm going to give you an xy table. But if you think back to, I believe it was this year 21, maybe 19, I don't know, 21, we talked about how to find slope from an xy table. Okay? Because what is slope? Well, slope is the difference of your y values over the difference of your x values. So what you're going to need to do here is basically just pick 2 ordered pairs. I'll pick these last 2 here, right? And use those to find your slope. Okay? What are you doing to get from 9 to 13 here? Our change in y, I'm adding 4. What am I doing to get from 3 to 6 here? My change in x, I'm adding 3. So my change in y is 4. My change in x is 3. There's my slope. Okay? If you had picked a different set of ordered pairs, you get the same result, right? How do you get from 1 to 5? Add 4. How do you get from -3 to 0? Add 3. Again, we see a change in y of +4 and a change in x of +3. Okay? That's how you can find your slope from an xy table. Our y-intercept, well, in the previous section, I gave you 1 ordered pair that the line passes through, and you use that to find the y-intercept. How many ordered pairs do I give you here that you could use to find the y-intercept? I give you 4 of them, right? Because all 4 of these ordered pairs, -3, 1, 0, 5, 3, 9, 6, 13, okay, they're on the line. They're part of the relation. They can all be used to help us find our y-intercept. So I'm going to use 613, okay, as my value for x and value for y to find this y-intercept. So 13 gets plugged in for y equals my slope 4/3 times my x value 6, and I'm solving for b. Okay, I start by multiplying that 4/3 times 6. 4/3 times 6 over 1 equals 24 over 3, which 24 divided by 3 is just 8. So 13 equals 8 plus b. One-step equation to get b by itself, subtract 8 from both sides, and I get a b value of 5. Now, some of you might be screaming at me in your head, hopefully not out loud, but screaming at me in your head, but you gave us an ordered pair with an x value of 0. Indeed, I did. Okay? If you recognize that, if you notice that one of those 4 ordered pairs that I gave you in the table had an x value of 0, you could have skipped all this math here, because with an x value of 0, you know that 5 is going to be the y-intercept. I went through the math to show you that if you didn't catch that, but if you used a different ordered pair, such as 613, we would still get that y-intercept value of 5. So it does not matter which ordered pair you choose, as long as you plug things in the right spot and do your math correctly, you are going to get the correct y-intercept. Okay, so what's our final answer here? Well, y equals mx plus b. Our slope is 4/3. And our y-intercept is positive 5. So y equals 4/3 x plus 5. How do we find that 4/3? Again, we picked two ordered pairs and looked at the change in y over the change in x, positive 4 over positive 3. How we found the y-intercept? Well, you could have either looked and saw that I had an x value of 0 there, or pick one of the ordered pairs, plug it in, just like we did in the top section here, and solve for b that way. Okay? Let's do another one. Let's do the third one here. All right. Looking for this slope, going from change in x, change in y. I'll just pick my, I like positivity here. So I'm going to pick these two ordered pairs to look for my change in y over change in x. How do I get from 8 to 29? I add 21. How do I get from 3 to 10? I add 7. So my change in y is 21. My change in x is 7. But of course, I'm not going to leave it as 21/7, right? No. 21 divided by 7 equals 3. So my slope is 3. Okay. Now to find the b, find that y-intercept, looking through my forward pairs, I don't see an x value of 0. So now I'm going to have to pick an ordered pair to plug in, just like we did in the top section on this page, and solve for b. Let's, it's okay to be a little negative sometimes, I suppose. Let's do -2, -7, just to get that practice there. Okay, so -2, -7, that means in my equation, y equals mx plus b, -7 is what I'm plugging in for y. I found my slope to be 3. -2 is what I'm plugging in for x, and b is the variable that I'm solving for. I'm going to pause a little bit here just to let this all sink in. Okay, make sure you understand where those values are coming from. How do we find the slope? How do we set up that equation in order to solve for the y-intercept? Now that we've got this, 3 times -2 is a -6. To get b by itself, it's a one-step equation. Add 6 to both sides. -7 plus 6 is -1. And there's my value for b. And once I get that slope, and once I get the y-intercept, I'm good to go, right? Because all I got to do is plug those in. Y equals 3x minus 1. There's my equation for this relation. Okay? That's type number 3, that XY table. Type number 4, you probably recognize these from PO22, I believe, when we first kind of learned about slope and that slope formula. Again, I don't give you slope directly, but I do give you two ordered pairs that are on the line, which means that to find the slope, kind of like with our XY table, you just look for the difference of x and y. You probably recognize me doing that, right? Label them x1, y1, x2, y2. And our slope formula, y2 minus y1, 9 minus 5, over x2 minus x1, 4 minus 6. 9 minus 5 is positive 4. 4 minus 6 is negative 2. The fraction 4 divided by negative 2 simplifies to be negative 2. And there's my slope. Okay? So I said at the very beginning of this that part of this is looking at the information that you're given and deciding how to use it. If you're given two ordered pairs, and only two ordered pairs, to find that slope, plug them in the slope formula and find it. Okay? Now for our b, well, Neither of these ordered pairs has an x value of 0, so no luck there. So it again just means we get to pick one and plug it in, just like we did with the XY table and just like we did at the beginning or the top of this page. Okay, so let's go with 4, 9. Why not? Okay, so our value for y, here's our equation, y equals mx plus b. Our value for y is 9. Our slope we found to be -2. Our value for x is 4. And we're solving for b. Same kind of process that we've done in the last couple here to get that b variable. -2 times 4 is a -8. One-step equation to get b by itself, add 8 to both sides, and we get a y-intercept of 17. Okay. Had we picked 6, 5, would we get the exact same thing? You bet. I'm debating in my head whether I should prove it to you or not. I'll prove it to you, okay? So if we had chosen 6, 5, let's run through it quickly here. 5 would be for y. -2 is our slope times the x value of 6 plus b. -2 times 6 is a -12. Add 12 to both sides, and we get 17. So either ordered pair works. It's up to you. Our final answer, slope-intercept form, y equals our slope, -2, and then our y-intercept, +17. Okay. We'll do one more. Let's do the last one just for kicks here, and then you can start your Google quiz. I will essentially give you the ones that we have not done on this page, and then I'll give you equations, and you just pick which one it is. So do your work first, then hop over to the quiz, and then select your choices there. So again, another situation where the slope is not given to you. However, you are given 2 ordered pairs. So we have x1, y1, x2, y2. We can use those to calculate the slope. So we have 14 minus 0, y2 minus y1, over x2, -15, minus -9. Remember that when that value is negative in the ordered pair, you need both the subtraction sign from the formula and the negative sign that belongs to the number. And we end up with -15 plus 9 here, right? So 14 minus 0 is 14. -15 minus -9 is a -6. Ugh, this is not pretty at all. Why did I pick this one? Yikes. But then we have 14 over -6. That reduces to be -7/3. And that's going to be our slope. -7/3. Gross. Okay. For the y-intercept here, gosh, I see that 0 in that ordered pair, -9, 0, but that's in the y value, not the x value. So -9 is not the y-intercept here because the 0 is not in the x spot. But we can use that ordered pair to get the y-intercept. We're going to plug in 0 for y. Our slope is -7/3. We're multiplying that by the x value of -9. And we're solving for b. Okay. That multiplication, -7/3 times -9, looks like this. We have a negative times a negative, so we know it's going to be a positive here. 7 times 9 is 63. 3 times 1 is 3. And 63/3 does work out evenly. Okay, 21. So 0 equals 21 plus b. Subtract 21 from both sides to get b by itself. And -21 is our y-intercept. So our equation in slope-intercept form, y equals -7/3, x minus 21. Had we used the other ordered pair, which I'm not going to in this case, I think this video is getting kind of lengthy, but if we had used -15, 14, we would get the same y-intercept of -21. Okay, So a lot of information to absorb here. I get that. But what I really want you to focus on is really just two questions. How do I get the slope? It'll either be given to you or you need to use the slope formula. And then the second question is, how do we get the y-intercept? It'll be given to you, or you pick an ordered pair that's on the line, plug those values in for x and y with your slope, and solve for b. So even though they look a little bit different as far as how the information is presented, the process for all of them is very similar. You just have to recognize what that process is given the information you have. All right, so hop on over to the quiz. We will go over this again next week as our review, but take all the key points, all the notes that you can here, and do your very best on that quiz. So that is how you math. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Have a great weekend, and I hope to see you on Monday.